Hi, Shirley Warrington here, Development Director with Hunters Humbug, and I'm joined by two of our newest owners. In fact, they're just going through onboarding, so really new to the system, Tyson and Monica, and appreciate you guys spending a few minutes with me here just talking about why you chose Mosquito Hunters. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and if you could just share your experience, I'd appreciate that. So first, let's just talk about your backgrounds. Like, what was your background prior to looking at franchise opportunities? So I'll start with you, Tyson, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So I am, thank you, Shirley. So I was in academia for a long time, for about 7 years. I was teaching marketing. I was an assistant professor of marketing, teaching a lot of different marketing courses. Uh, yeah, for about 7 years, and
Mhm.
then I went on to work for corporate for as a UX researcher. So it's a part of like it's categorized as a tech jobs for
Mhm.
about two plus years. And then I decided that I decided that maybe it's a good idea to have a change of pace. Maybe think about like some sort of business ownership. And then that's when I decided to kind of Google things around
Mhm.
and things up for some idea. And then when I Google things around, I was wanting to buy a franchise because
Mhm.
with franchise there's less risk, and then their methods, they're already like working methods and so on.
Right. Right.
So and then I decided that I Google it like what's franchise best to buy, and then I think the name of Kyle's pop
Yeah.
up, which Kyle is Kyle DeHaas. He was our franchise uh, consultant, and
Yeah.
then we can work with him. So go
Okay.
ahead, Monica.
Awesome. Thank you. Monica, you want to share a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So, very similar to Tyson, I was in academia for 8 years as well. So, teaching marketing classes. Currently, I'm working at Amazon in actually Seattle headquarters on the Prime team. I'm a senior researcher, UX researcher, user experience researcher for Prime. So, I'm still working with Amazon, have been like 2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Good. Well, and I know when you guys started looking at mosquito hunters, as consultants do, they presented multiple options to you based on, what you shared you were looking for, and mosquito hunters was one of those in the mix. So what was it for both of you that kind of had mosquito hunters rise to the top choice for you? So Tyson, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, so I was presented with about, I believe, five different in-home services. And then we were talking with all of them, various stages. There are like first phone call and then second and so on. But I think what we found was Mosquito Hunter was, I think, the one that truly captured our attentions because it focuses a lot on marketing. And
Mm.
then I think the template is, well, the marketing because it fits our background, but also the template that was presented early on by Shirley and her team was actually quite persuasive in such a way that there's a good structures, on how like when Shirley and her team presented the ideas and what does franchise with Mosquito Hunter looks like. They're very
Mhm.
structured, very
Mhm.
informative, and then very patient also. So that's kind of like the big reason why we kind of, go with Mosquito Hunter.
Yeah.
Uh,
Awesome.
Monica, go
Thank you.
ahead.
Yeah, Monica, how about you? What was some of the things that you felt were appealing, about this model for what you guys are looking for?
Yeah, very similar to what Tyson was saying. Definitely the marketing expertise was pretty clear to us that the company has quite a bit of
Mhm.
marketing expertise.
Mhm.
And I think for me, it's also the culture. I feel like the culture is really good.
Mhm.
It's very collaborative, and people know what they're doing. So
That's
it's
important.
yeah,
Yep.
competence plus very collaborative culture.
Mhm.
So yeah, that really draws me in. Yeah, I like the culture.
Yeah. And what about, I know that obviously we just launched this new 3-in-1 model. What about that was specifically was appealing to you? Like, if we were just doing mosquito control, how would you have maybe viewed the business differently, or how does that different make your decision different, right? That you have these three
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah, for sure. The seasonality would always be a question in our mind.
Mhm.
So I do think that having the 3-in-1 model helps with that, the seasonality, and just opens up more opportunities for revenue growth. So I
Yes.
think this is really good. Just like thinking about all year round and, you have different opportunities.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I also think that the lighting business, at least from my personal experience, anecdotal wise, I just think it's a market that is a bit less crowded too. So it is a
Hmm.
good market.
Exactly, exactly. No real national leader yet
Right.
in that
Yeah.
space. So coming in sort of at an emerging time
Hmm.
with the holiday lighting.
For sure.
Yeah. Tyson, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it also like the obviously I think the seasonality is the biggest one. And then also in terms of employee retentions, right? If you think about
Mm-hmm.
employee retentions, you know, if you are lucky enough, you'll be able to, just hire the right person, and then this person can just, stick with you throughout the year, those mosquito season, and then, and then moving on to the, holiday lighting, and then the pest
Right.
control is kind of all year long. So yeah,
Yes.
so I think from like employee retention is important.
That's a big question that anybody has, right? Is how do you help me find customers and how do you help me find and retain employees? Like if you can solve for those two things, you're ahead of the game. So awesome, great points. Thanks, guys. And then just the last question is, obviously our process we met once, maybe sometimes twice a week. You had a chance to meet with Eric and Andy and our team at Discovery Day, and I know Tyson. You especially did a lot of research and talking to other owners and your neighbor over there in Texas as well. But what was it about the process that you enjoyed and that you thought was helpful to getting you to the point of, making your final decision?
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely like the meeting, the weekly meeting, and then I think the agenda for the weekly that there's only something to talk about every week, just kind of like
Mhm.
moving towards somewhere, and
Yes.
then so that's to me is very important. And then so just the format of it is great. And
Good.
then also I think being able to like talk to other owners definitely helps a lot in terms of like knowing like what you're getting into. Uh, yeah, I think those are the two
Right.
biggest one
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just, we want to be transparent, right? No surprises. I mean, there might be a few little ones, but for the most part, like you said, you want to know what the expectation is, what are the ups and downs of the business. So that's important. How about for you, Monica?
I feel like the right amount of information, so it's not too overwhelming each time,
Mhm.
especially at the very beginning.
Yeah,
I feel like it was just the right information for us to ask questions. And
good.
like Tyson was saying, each time we feel like we're progressing towards something. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, great. Well, I really enjoyed working with both of you. You had great questions throughout the process and did your research really well. I know you're both busy, especially you, Monica, with your job with Amazon. So I applaud you and appreciate you both being going through this together. Even though Tyson, I know you're sort of taking the lead. Monica, you're going to be involved in strategy and scaling up and that type of thing. And so it is, important that I think it makes a difference when you go through this together. So I want to just thank you for that and congratulate you on that. So great. Well, before we wrap up, anything else you want to share? If you were talking to a best friend or a candidate that was going to start looking at a franchise, what one piece of advice would you, or two pieces of advice would you give? Other than talk to Shirley and buy a Mosquito Hunters franchise. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Tyson.
Yeah, I think for me it's like just kind of like looking back the process. It was about 3 months, I believe, right? The whole process, 3, 4 months. It's a long process. And there's up and down, up and down. So just it's important to just keep in mind that, like use Shirley and the team as a resources, when when there are times when you are like, okay, you are not sure, then just maybe talk, also use other owners also, talk to them, just really kind of, being able to just talk to the teams, the Shirley teams, and then the owners, the other owners really helps, in terms of like kind of understanding what's going on with this business.
Yes, just trusting the process, and that there's going to be emotions that you have throughout the process, and that's normal and natural. And you were very good at following that. So thank you, Tyson. Monica, how about you? Any advice?
Well, for sure, I feel like people should do their research. Very true. And also be open-minded, because you don't know what you don't know. Like, I know a lot of times you never thought, oh, this is an industry I would go into, but just be open-minded, hear what the business have to say, and, just think about your own personal goals, your career goals, and see how that match up. But definitely be open-minded, because I know not all of us came from this particular industry. So yeah, be open-minded, do your research.
Exactly. You probably remember on my first call saying, I'm sure you didn't dream of a mosquito or a pest business, right? So that's great advice, to be open-minded to the options that your coach shows to you, and then just trust and follow the process. So, well, thank you guys so much for sharing a little bit about your journey. I know you have a lot going on, getting ready to launch, which is so exciting. I'm so excited for you guys, and look forward to just seeing you have a successful launch. And yeah, I know you're going to do great. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Shirley.
you, Shirley. Thank you.
We're helping you to take back your yard. Mosquito Hunters.